to talk about Silent Hill 2 Remake, baby. I have not yet even heard what you think of it. I have no idea what... I beat it. Mm-hmm. Did you beat it?
I'm halfway.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A solid 10 hours in.
Yeah, it took me... Okay, first up, we're not going to expressly talk about spoilers in this. We're going to give our opinions. This is... It's more of an impressions thing than a preview, but it's not a full review. Mm-hmm. But we're going to be talking about our thoughts on this remake, and that may involve some of the changes made, but we're not going to spoil anything. We're not going to spoil the story. If you've never played this game, we're not going to ruin anything. Yeah, I just wanted to get that out of the way. We're not going to talk about the endings or anything like that, but we will say like stuff like how long it is, like changes, things that we're interested in, things that we noticed. You've been warned.
Yes.
And I think maybe we could do a bigger lore discussion somewhere else. I don't know, but like
spoiler
a
mode.
Spoiler mode kind of a thing.
For sure.
But yeah, just that's the disclaimer over. Here we go into it. So I beat it. It took me 19 hours and 10 minutes.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
And I was being thorough.
Of course.
Yeah. I liked it a lot. I really loved it. Yeah.
I fucking loved it.
I'm kind of shocked.
I'm like 9 out of 10 range.
Yeah.
Easy.
Oh,
this
yeah.
is like Evil Within levels of like, this is the top tier of survival horror for me.
It's really good.
Yeah.
Like,
top to bottom.
Shocked. I'm kind of shocked how good it is, you know? Because, like, we'll just, you know, like, Bloober Team doesn't make bad stuff. Mm-hmm. I think people were, like, nervous. Yeah. Because sometimes it's like, you know, they're not all 10 out of 10s. But,
you're
like,
remaking one of the greatest games
you're
ever
remaking
made.
one of the greatest games of all time.
That's already baggage enough. And then their pedigree doesn't have any 10 out of 10s.
Yeah.
You know, they make pretty good horror games.
Yeah, they
really
make like good, pretty legendary horror games.
Yeah.
But yeah, like you see the budget in a lot of them, you know, like that. In this game, I am like, it looks great.
Oh, it's
it
so good
ran
looking.
well.
So well.
I encountered like maybe four things like rough around the edges the entire
One
game.
time I did get stuck in the wall and I had to reload.
There were a couple of like two times I
all.
got stuck on like the seam of a ledge, but I found if you like dash out of it.
I kept trying to like dash and I couldn't get out of the wall. I was like, damn it.
That happened to me like 2 or 3 times in 19 hours, and it's 2 weeks before release, right?
It ran
like,
so well.
I played it in graphics mode.
Nice.
And there were like, I had like 3 framey patches when I was getting like spit on by a bunch of acid, right? It ran shockingly well.
In performance,
we played it on PS5.
A little bit here and there, but it's pretty rock solid.
Yeah. They made it's wild because like
I'm excited for your thoughts because you're the lore master.
Yeah, well, that's my thing is like I'm obsessed and I have been obsessed with Silent Hill since it came out. I'm not like Max Durat level of like, I mean, I have made lore videos, I think, about Silent Hill before, but like, you know, like I don't know like everything.
Of course.
I know almost everything.
It's like professional YouTubers that dedicate their life to a game play it over and over nonstop, whereas like the normal hardcore fan like you revisits it every couple years.
Right. Like yeah, I've beaten Silent Hill 2, I don't know, like 10, 15 times, I don't know, like enough times that like OG game, you know, like when I'm rusty, when I'm rusty, I can get through it in like 6 hours, probably. And yeah, so the first thing you notice in this is they basically just kind of doubled everything. Yeah. Like lengthwise. Like the apartments, but it's weird because it doesn't feel like it didn't really drag. Yeah. Like it's funny because I was trying to finish it for today. We're filming this on Tuesday, whatever day it is, the 1st. I was trying to finish it for today, and I was like, I'm feeling the time pressure from that. The reviewer's curse, where it's like, I'm feeling the time pressure because I have to finish this game, right? So I was like playing it in way longer sittings than I definitely would have otherwise.
It's a draining game to play, too. 1 hour
emotionally draining.
1 hour of Silent Hill 2 equals like 3 hours of a normal game, or like 4 hours of Astrobot.
Yeah. Like, Astrobot is like rejuvenating you as you play. Yeah.
It's like after an hour, I'm just like,
Well, because it's not only
that good stress.
Oh yeah. Well, because it's not only like gameplay, like I'm playing a horror game, stressful. It's emotionally devastating, and like one of the things I was worried about is because this game deals with incredibly heavy subject matter.
Yeah.
And, it's famous for the original for, it's the one that everyone says, like, well, all the enemies are like that for a reason. Like, the enemies are sexy for a reason or whatever. Yeah. And I'm a full subscriber to that.
Because stories have evolved so much over the decades since this came out. This was so cutting edge.
Yeah,
with how deep and emotional its story can be and horrific.
And like, it deals with some really, really gnarly stuff. And I was like, okay, this needs to be handled with the utmost sensitivity, right? And I think that it was. I think that this game updates things in a way that doesn't make it like, I don't know. I was just worried that somehow, somewhere in the translation, it would get like, the point would be missed or something. Yeah. The one thing I will say...
I love his voice actor.
Oh, the voice actor
is
incredible.
He is so good.
I'm just so good.
You're on my list, bro. You're on my list.
My wife, Sophia, and I, like, immediately, we were like, these are the best I'm stomping an enemy to death, like, effort sounds in any video game ever. Yeah. They're, like so good. I even found myself wondering if they like programmed in changes to how intense and emotional his screams are if the enemy damaged you or not. Yeah. Because sometimes I would notice like after I'd been hit and I'm stomping it to death, he's like, intense. Whereas if I'm just stomping it, he's like, and I'm like, okay. But I don't know.
Yeah, loved it. Loved that.
Yeah, but like, it's kind of crazy because... like you said, I know the original like the back of my hand, right? And I love the shout out again, as I always do, to the Silent Hill 2 Enhanced Edition that was made by a armada of modders. Like, props to them.
Armada of modders. That is a band name or a song
Oh my
name.
God, yeah. But I mean, like, that's I would say the definitive way to play the original.
Yeah.
It's not the PC modded version, Enhanced Edition. But this is easily the definitive way and easiest way to play it now.
And that's the thing about remakes. Just a quick aside here, because the remake drama, remake controversy, seen a lot of it going around, especially with this game because it's so near and dear to people's hearts.
Yeah.
I feel like, we always talk about how we're just so insulated in the gaming world. I feel like remakes are the best way for the casual player to be invited into this world.
Yeah.
Like, a casual player is not going to go back and play the original Silent Hill 2. It's just like a tall order. Also, this series is ridiculously hard to be able to just play on modern consoles.
Oh yeah.
Like PlayStation 5 has like none of the games.
Yeah.
Just none.
And the HD remake, quote unquote, was not good.
And you can't even play that on PS5,
the
current gen. So I just think like remakes are such a good opportunity for new players to come in, and like especially when it is handled with care and faith.
And this kind of plays into it's not a criticism. It's something I'm curious about because I know this story so well. And Sophia was watching me play parts of it, and like she watched me play the ending. I'm not going to say what the ending is, but like part of me wonders if the abstraction of SD graphics on a PS2 like helps like... how do I phrase this? Like, does the high fidelity, like, you can understand and see everything you're looking at.
Yeah.
Like, was the medium better for the original release because it was had lower fidelity? And like, because right now the Silent Hill is like very known for being, there's a lot of symbolism. Not everything is spelled out. It doesn't spoon feed you the storylines. It doesn't explain, a lot of stuff. Like some stuff is said directly. A lot of stuff is hinted at. Like it's soulsy and like, it's like lore heavy.
Sure. Yeah.
And like, I wonder to someone brand new, like if you're brand new and you've never played this, and you play this version, how did it land?
Yeah.
Like, tell me. I'm actually curious because like I think they did a perfect job. I think they did a great job. They didn't fuck with the story, mercifully.
Rightfully so.
Yeah, rightfully so. I think that they updated lines of dialogue and stuff that the actors felt like, hey, this would flow a little better maybe if we say this. But like most of it is the same. Like I even rewatched some cutscenes after getting to that part in the game just to compare, and I was like in my memory. Okay, so the one of the Pyramid Head cutscenes, to get a little specific.
Yeah.
The first one where James is like hiding in the closet, which is very, very intense, right?
Yeah.
That
was one of the things even I noticed, and I've only beaten this game like 2 times total in my life on my own.
Yeah.
So I'm not overly familiar.
Yeah.
But that one, I was like, ooh, that's a little less graphic.
Well, it's weird because it felt
subtlety though, very subtle.
Well, it felt more subtle.
Yeah.
Weirdly. Like this is kind of what I was trying to drive at. Is like somehow weirdly I feel like the messaging and the story landed harder and clearer the more blurry and bad looking the game was. Like the old version, like I was like, oh yeah, that's what that is. Like that's what he was doing to that mannequin. Like, you know? And in this one, I was like, it seems a little less clear what was going on
like,
there.
What the hell?
But then I like rewatched the original cutscene and they changed the order around a little bit and like the way he shoots through the thing is a little different.
Yeah.
And I think maybe makes more sense the original one. But like some of the weird movements that Pyramid Head does are 1-to-1.
Awesome.
But it's 1-to-1.
Love it.
And I'm like, back then that just seems like, okay, this is the best we could do with this animation.
Right? Yeah.
But now it's like, but now I'm like, I know you can make movements that are specific and make sense. So now I'm like, why is he moving that way? Yeah. I'm like unpacking, you know, because the detail is so high. Yes. I don't know. Am I making sense?
No, 100%.
It's weird, and like there are a few moments like that.
They can do so much more nowadays, and it's just like, you can just see, you just have a better understanding of it. Obviously, you've replayed it a bunch of times, and you're older now, and you know, different lens. But I see what you're saying for sure.
The game lands for various reasons way harder now, like way heavier.
Yeah,
way heavier now for me. But like, so it's I don't know if I feel like I've been talking for like 10 straight minutes, but like, okay, cool, yeah, because it's like, it's such a weird thing that the higher fidelity made things less clear in some of the story beats.
And it's funny.
And I don't know if it's just because I know what's coming the whole game and I know what the story beats mean.
They probably had a real, I would imagine, you know, that was probably one of the main things in development is like, let's still retain the like mystery and the subtlety.
Oh, for sure.
Like, let's hold back on some of these moments, even if it means balancing between like, you know, updating something for the times, but also retaining the like mystery of it all.
Yeah. I feel like that sounded like a criticism. It's not. No, it's more of a curiosity. Yeah. I'm like, is this true or am I just being weird?
And it's just an adaptation, of course. It's different
for sure.
creators, so like the lens of it and just the presentation of it is naturally gonna be a little different.
I mean, and it's so like it's very, very, very true.
Yeah.
To the original.
100%.
Like, there are even a few places where I was like, you could have like. Some of the music choices, like
music's so good.
The music is great. Yamaoka's the GOAT. Yeah. But like some of them feel a little like early 2000s.
Yeah.
And like I'm not sure the emotion that they were conveying then still is conveyed now. Yeah. You know, not a criticism, but I'm just kind of wondering how it'll land for people.
Some of that music, like you'll walk into a room.
Oh, the gameplay music is incredible.
You'll walk into a room and there'll be a corpse there, and then this music will just be like. Boom, boom.
Oh, yeah.
Boom, boom.
That stuff's God tier.
Yeah.
I was just talking in like 2 of the story beats. I'm like, does this song still fit?
Oh, yeah.
Like, does this song fit right now?
Yeah.
No, but
those are some choices for
sure. Let's talk about changes and updates. So, like, graphically, obviously, it looks way better. The big thing is the gameplay.
The best fog of all time.
Oh, my God, yeah.
Of all time. This is a showpiece for video game fog.
Yeah. There's the lake, the fog looks a little funky, but like... The whole game is like, the fog looks amazing.
God tier fog.
The town looks amazing. Everything looks so good.
That is what I really.
The lighting is bananas.
Yeah,
there's
playing
some
this in just darkness,
dark ass places.
Dark.
Yeah,
Oh, I really want to drive that home. You know, one of the most important things for me of all time, and I think for most survival horror players, is location, atmosphere.
Yeah.
And, you know, when we think of these legendary games like Resident Evil and Dead Space, we think of Spencer Mansion and the Ishimura. The fucking town of Silent Hill.
I mean, the game is named after the location.
Yes. In this remake, you know, you were talking about how they expanded everything just like a little bit. Like, this is some of the most fun I've had wandering around a location in a horror game since The Evil Within 2, and you know how much I love that game. Like, just bouncing around from, you know, coffee shop to bookstore to apartment. Like, it's just so well done. The sense of exploration and the puzzles and just fighting for your life in these encounters. Like, how visceral and intense even the most mundane combat encounter is. It is hardcore.
Are you playing on hard?
Just playing on normal.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I was standard for my first playthrough.
Same. The next one I want to kick it up, but like the challenge is just right, I feel like, because they give you a lot of resources like ammo and health if you're exploring.
Yeah.
But each encounter really does feel like a fight for your life, and that I respect and love.
The thing that people were curious about ahead of time, because like it's one of those games where it's like, the control limitations of the time, whatever, but like you really did feel like you're just a normal dude who sucks at combat.
Yeah.
And like I personally, and I know a lot of other people were nervous about that aspect because they modernized the combat and the controls. You move, the way you move feels great. The way you attack feels right. You can dodge.
Dodge feels like Last of Us 2 kind of.
Dodge feels really good. Like, but you never feel like an unstoppable killing machine. They balanced it. I think the combat is perfect. Like you feel.
It really is. It feels so good.
You feel on the back foot always.
All the time. Even if I have 50 bullets. I'm just like.
You feel on the back foot always, but not because the controls in the combat are bad. Because everything is so well balanced. And like,
take a couple hits, you're like flashing red.
Yeah, you're almost dead. And like, there's such an interesting thing, because I was thinking of you while I was playing this, because like there were moments of the game playing on standard combat, standard puzzles.
Me too. Standard.
That I would have 20 healing items and like 40 bullets for my handgun and 10 for the the other guns. And like there were times where I'm like, I am a tank. I'm sitting pretty. Like
Chris Redfield up in here.
I'm an unstoppable
Leon S. Kennedy
healing and killing machine right now. And then like one combat encounter, I'm like, I've got 3 bullets. I've got 3 bullets. Cool. And like the game, it like expertly does that. The flow and like I think
like it knows what you want or need.
Absolutely,
it's like randomized shit.
Absolutely. And like I think that can't go understated at like how good of an achievement that is, especially because they took the original as a roadmap and they fleshed out a few of the areas that felt a little shorter than maybe they wanted them to be. Like, I mean, not trying to be spoilery, but like I'll just say a few of the later game areas in the original feel much shorter comparatively than early game areas, which on the one hand for pacing works well because you're like closing in
for sure.
But in this, it feels like they doubled everything without making it drag too much, but they also like kept that flow of discovery and dread. It's so consistent.
So intense at all times. Yeah, it's perfectly balanced, like you said. It's just such an essential part of this entire genre is like making you feel vulnerable, and for them to be able to do that even when you are stocked with supplies and you're facing general enemy number 86 that you've taken out, you're still nervous and it's still intense, and that makes every single part of this game better. Every part of survival horror better, because you find ammo, you find health, you're pumped. You kill an enemy, you're relieved, you're pumped. It's like everything is enhanced because of how well paced and balanced it is.
Yeah. And like it's so interesting how they kind of toy with your expectations. Like I think that this will be an amazing Like if you're just a first playthrough of Silent Hill 2,
and if you're a replayer,
you don't need to have played Silent Hill at all ever. They're not fully standalone, but they're standalone. Especially Silent Hill 2. It's just like, here's a game. Yeah. Like you don't worry about it.
Fantasy-esque in a
way,
loosely, kind of.
But like the way they toy with your expectations is so good, and they start right off the bat. They do an interesting thing in this, which isn't spoilery, but like you see it immediately.
It shows you that the game is going to be a little different.
Yeah, and like they call attention to it in a way that doesn't take away or like. You know, for a second I was like, "Oh, are we doing like a alternate weirdo history?"
Yeah.
Like I don't know, but like if you see a place that was in the original game that is now different, which like the whole game is the same but pretty different. But like the easiest example is right away where you used to get the radio and the board with the nail in it.
Yeah,
is just closed off,
yeah.
And like you can click interact. And it'll go to a fixed camera angle and do like a little mysterious chimes, like
very cool,
and like ripple kind of a thing.
Love that shit.
And like throughout the game, you can find all these little things, like, oh, this is what the old version of this puzzle was, but we updated it and made it way better now. The puzzles are great.
They're
they're really good. They're really good.
They're insane.
Yeah, and they're interesting, and they also encourage exploration and like the way that the levels
the map is the best. The way that. Ever, by the way.
The map is great.
Get fucked, Resident Evil. All blue run. Go into a room, wait for it to get blue. These maps are the best.
It's great because it really feels like they even had the detail of like, okay, you walk into a door that or like you find some kind of puzzle element, whatever it is.
Yeah.
James will actually take the map out.
I love it.
Take a red Sharpie and quickly, and you can still walk around. It doesn't interrupt. You don't have to sit there and fucking wait for him to do it. He just does it as he's turning around.
The sound too.
And yeah, you just go. Takes that long. He just goes. But you actually literally see him write on the map with his red Sharpie.
I'll write some notes there.
And then you look at the map, and he's written like what you would have written on the map. He's like, he'll write like S on door.
Yeah.
And you're like, what the hell does that? Like he's even like, what the hell is this about? Like. Yeah. It's I don't know. It's such a nice
puzzle
addition.
Box here, like
because like the original game had the red marks on the map, but now they've kind of contextualized it in this way.
And I love it too because you can just like open it up in real time. So like anytime I would get to, which there are not that many of, but a couple cozy save rooms. They're in short supply, the cozy ones.
Oh yeah.
But every time I'd get to a cozy one, I would just like bust the map out, hang out. There's one where it was like raining outside and the windows open, and I'm just like. Chilling with the map, dude. Listen to the rain, like hit the windows. I'm just like, oh, this is the best. October. Silent Hill.
The vibes are god tier. It's funny because the game tracks. This isn't a spoiler, but the game tells you stats at the very, very end, like all these games do.
Of course.
The game tracks how many times you check the map.
Oh my god.
And how many times you try to unlock or open locked doors.
Oh my god!
It tracks, how many consumables, how many things you killed, all that kind of stuff.
Because like I brute force, like if I have like 2 numbers out of 3 for a lock, I'll just like brute force it.
Yeah. Well, this is just doors that you like walk into, and he's like, ugh.
Got it.
So yeah, I tried to open locked doors 459 times. I tried to do everything. I was trying to explore everything. I was trying to not miss a single thing, and I still missed stuff. We can talk about it in a second. Don't want to miss. I checked it. Guess how many times I checked the map?
I'm going to say, I check it every 5 seconds.
I check it a lot.
So I'm going to say it was like 810 times.
860.
Yeah.
Damn.
It's insane.
That was a close guess. That was a close guess.
Yeah. I know. I want to like memorize.
I died
Silent
once.
Hill. Got it. Memorized.
I dodged 728 times.
That's very funny.
The other stuff, I don't want to say what favorite weapon is or whatever, but like
I just really like the puzzles because they are just the right amount of guidance.
Yeah.
There is no there's no like objective task. It's never like here is your objective.
Well, here's the
and it's just you need to go by what's on your map and kind of figure it out that way. So there were times when I was like, wait, what am I trying to do right now? And it's just like, okay, well, I don't really know, but there are rooms to still explore, so I'll go do that for now.
Yeah.
So there are so many moments in this game where it's just like, kind of just go. Like, here's a whole building to explore. Like, just go explore it and figure it out. And I really like that. But then there's also like a little bit of guidance with the map. You know, if something's super important, it'll have like a big circle kind of on the map where it's like, maybe check this area.
It's contextualized within the like.
But then
it feels like James literally reminding himself, like, what am I doing?
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
But it was so good because even with that little bit of guidance where it's like, yo, this room's important, circle on it. Sometimes it'll just be like the device you need to solve to get through. And it's like, okay, well,
you don't even know what it is.
I don't even know what it is. I don't even know what I need for it. I need to just go explore this whole area. And that is the best feeling in a survival horror game. I live for that feeling.
Well, and I love that even some of the like markers on the map he'll write and he's just like, I don't know. Like, just like suspended cage question mark? Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
I did want to highlight the pretty great, I think, accessibility and difficulty and like HUD. Because this is a criticism I had from seeing the original gameplay, or one of the middle gameplay things was like, I don't know how I feel about the like HUD popping up when you're doing stuff. You can set the HUD to modern, default, or retro, and that like modern is like pickups are highlighted from far away. There's a little interact thing from far away.
I pushed triangle so many times because it's Last of Us. I kept pushing triangle.
Because interact is X, and then triangle is read. It like just puts the text, you know, like you picked up a scrawled note, and then triangle is read. I would go up to something to read and hit triangle.
Yeah, and then you'd use
a couple of times. I like two or three times I drank a health drink when I was like, fuck, I was trying to read that.
Yeah.
But you can set, and you can customize it too, so you can make even your own. But you can set how obtrusive or inobtrusive the HUD is, all the way up to nothing. Like no tutorials, no markers, no reticle, no interact buttons, nothing.
Yeah.
Modern, I think, was a great mix for your first playthrough because it'll have like helpful tutorials of like, hey, push X to go under this garage door or whatever.
Yeah.
I think that
some of those early on that's where I got stuck.
Yeah.
That's where I got stuck. Very early on, there was a place I needed to interact with, and there was no marker. There was no thing saying that I could do it.
Yeah.
And I wandered around for a fair bit. And then I rechecked it, and then I saw it there, and I was like, oh, I can probably, But there was no prompt, and I love that.
I like that. Well, and I like, because much has been made of the yellow paint in other games.
This shit blends.
It blends, because it's white cloth.
Yes.
And it like rustles in the wind a little bit, but it also like, there are elements in Silent Hill, like roads will be blocked off with giant, like, you know, construction tarp that looks pretty similar to that.
Menacing.
So it's like, so it's like the white cloth feels like it fits, but it also is just like, oh, I can jump that, or oh, I can go under that, or oh, I can break through that. Like, it's the perfect of both worlds, where it's like it blends in, but it makes your eye go to it.
Totally.
I don't know. This is a little more specific, but like, I love that in this version they made the biggest, like the easiest joke enemy in the original version, the fucking legs, the scariest goddamn things in the fucking game. They are insane. They will pop out at you. They'll be hiding. The radio barely picks them up until they move.
Yeah.
Like, it is crazy.
I mentioned
Jump
Last
scare
of Us.
city, those
Oh
things.
my God, so many jump scares. I mentioned Last of Us Part 2, combat, dodging, it feels like it because of those fuckers.
Yeah.
Where it's like, you need to get your combos in, but you better be ready to dodge, because they'll have like some sneak attacks they'll get in. They'll have like these big charge ups. Sometimes you'll need to dash to the side because they'll like lunge at you. It's good.
And like, I could see people levying like enemy variety against this game as a criticism.
Context.
But they're contextualized, and this version evolves them a little. I'll just say that. There are some versions.
Yeah.
And then
variants.
There are some variants, yeah. And there were enemies that are in the original game that are not in this game that I think was a smart choice, because lore-wise, those enemies never exactly made sense. Like, everything else, I'm like, yeah, I get why you
Back then,
why
they
you're
were like,
there.
we need some more enemy types.
Yeah, they're like, make a thing that crawls. I don't know. And in this, it's like, okay, yeah, that change actually makes sense.
Yeah.
I actually do wonder if, and some, Lorehound can maybe get into this, but like if they looked at like thoughts of the devs from the original game, like what they wish they had done or like what they wish they had changed and actually did it.
I love that
because everything in this feels justified.
Yeah.
It feels like a change that makes sense.
This is a top tier remake.
It's incredible.
I'm blown away.
I am shocked and very pleased.
Top tier.
Yeah.
I would, if I was reviewing this game, I haven't even finished it, I would give this fucker a 9.
It's
straight up.
Easy 9. Yeah, easy 9, maybe 9.5 for me. And I am like nitpick city on Silent Hill 2. Just a couple of little housekeeping things, like things to look out for. There are some different pickups in this. They changed some stuff around like that, which is really interesting and mysterious, and I still don't know what they're really for. It did seem like from the number I saw at the end, of like, because at the end in your stats, it's like you achieved 1 out of blank endings. And that number's higher than the original game.
Hell yeah.
And so that's intriguing to me. I won't say anything more about that because I don't know anything about that. There is a new game plus. I started it.
Is there a higher difficulty? Like, do you unlock a
I didn't see
Inferno mode or
I didn't
some
see
shit?
a higher difficulty.
But
I don't think so. But
it's like a new run or whatever.
New game plus, you go to new game instead of continue, which kind of surprised me. But you go to new game and you can choose new game plus or new game.
Got it.
It unlocks a bunch of filters, like visual filters.
Perfect.
One that's really cool is black and white versus red, which is like completely black and white, except for the red save squares are just bright red.
That rules.
Blood might be too. I just started it. I didn't
That's
really
very
get into
cool.
it. But there are some cute masks that you can get from the... Those are in the deluxe edition or whatever.
Yeah.
And like, just like the OG game, like in the OG, this is not a spoiler, but in the OG, in New Game Plus, Silent Hill has kind of a history of like, okay, now we'll get a little silly.
Yeah.
And like in the OG, there's a chainsaw pretty much up front, and it was in pretty much the exact same spot.
Yeah.
And I ceremonially, because back in the day, there was a contest that if you took a photograph, and back then you had to take the photograph, take it to the drugstore and get it developed.
This is crazy.
Mail them the photograph of you standing by the chainsaw, like getting the you got a chainsaw. You sent that in. I don't even remember to who. Probably,
you did this?
Probably PSM. I did this.
This is sick.
I don't think I won because I don't remember what it was for, but I think it was PSM, maybe. But anyway, I took a picture of myself with the chainsaw, like getting the chainsaw again, like same exact
picture.
picture.
Tell me you still have that photo somewhere.
I mean, it was probably in my old house somewhere, but like, I remember seeing it actually not that long ago. Maybe my sister knows where it is.
Yeah.
But
that's awesome.
I mean, we could get into so much more, but that would get spoilery. So we'll do a spoiler mode or something on this. Maybe we'll try to sniff out someone who's like a lore master, and we'll try to get them on it. Because I all I want to do is talk about Silent Hill, obviously, given the runtime of this video. But like,
it's incredible.
Yeah, top tier remake.
Top tier.
I'm pleasantly surprised. I loved it.
Yeah.
Loved it.
Same.
Highly recommend.
Highly recommend. The future of Silent Hill is looking up.
Yeah.
We have brand new ones coming.
Yeah.
We have this remake of a beloved classic that has landed with veterans of the game.
Yeah. I mean, I'm curious to see what everyone else thinks of it, but like, I don't see a reason to be upset with this.
I was talking to Gabby and I was like, man, is this going to be like an Evil Within situation
where
I'm like, yo, this shit is a 9 out of 10. And then people are like, it's a 7.
Yeah.
It's like,
I'm a 6.
I'm waiting for it. I'm waiting for it because I am super high on it.
Yeah.
Like the most.
Well, and I'm curious too, kind of like without specifics, but like, I'm curious what the discourse will be on, like, because this game is heavy and deals with shit, but doesn't spell everything out really, So it's like, will the modern discourse, like, which way will that go on it? Like, will it be read favorably or not? Like, I don't know. Yeah. Like, I went into it knowing what everything symbolizes.
Yeah.
So, like, I'm very curious what people will think of this game because, like, on first blush, it's like, why are all the enemies women?
Yeah, it's like, what the hell is going on?
Why is everything sexy? Like, it was, because it's like, what? There's a reason and there's a lot to unpack. But, like, yeah, I don't know. I'm very curious, but I loved it. Check it out. and tell us what you thought of it. We do all kinds of stuff.
Hopefully we can play Silent Hill 1 easier someday.
Dude, I found myself...
The only way is to get a fucking PS1 or PS2 or PS3 2 generations ago.
Yeah.
2 gens ago, you can play that game. Like, come on.
I have my disc.
Yeah.
I have it.
Same. It's just such a hassle. So it is interesting that it's like, Silent Hill 2. So like people are, I wonder if that's going to make people a little hesitant just jumping into 2.
Yeah. Don't be hesitant.
Don't be hesitant.
Also, great work, Bloober team.
Yeah.
Sorry I doubted you.
Killed it. Crushed it.
Forgiveness, please. I wasn't out there shit talking, but I had my doubts.
On the trailer a couple times. Every time a trailer would show up, you'd be like,
I wasn't shit talking.
You weren't shit talking.
I was nervous.
You were pessimistic, and I think rightfully so.
Well, because it's one of my favorite games of all time.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, when Resident Evil 2
Remake... It's less to do with them and more to do with just don't fuck this up.
When Resident Evil 2 Remake got announced, I was like, do we need this? What the hell? And then it's the best game ever made. So it's when one of your beloved nostalgic childhood memories is messed with by new people in a new time, it's scary.
I think that was part of what made me nervous, because Silent Hill and Western developers do not have a good history. And
good point.
Final Fantasy VII Remake is, that's a lot of the same crew.
Yeah,
it's at least the same company proper.
And even Resident Evil was a lot of them.
Yeah, exactly. So it's that was mainly where my concerns were stemming from, was just this is a new crew.
So
and
fair.
there are some OG people, and a lot of OG people were consulted, but
yeah, we'll eat our
they nailed it.
We'll eat it.
Yeah, absolutely. We were wrong. This game's sick as shit.
We were wrong.
This game ruled.
We were so wrong.
We have to go back. Cut it out.
Cut it out. 10 out of 10. More Silent Hill, please.
Yeah. Bloober Team Remake 1, dude.
And Konami, dude. Konami's killing it. We got the MGS Volume 1 collection. Let's get a Silent Hill Volume 1 collection. Let's go.
I want Bloober Team to
give
remake
it all.
1 and 3.
Yep.
And I heard people thinking that 4 was in the rumblings. And Walter Sullivan is referenced in 2, the OG and this one.
You gotta do.
And he's involved in 4.
You gotta do
it's just
1. You gotta do 1.
I feel like you gotta do 1, and then if you do 1, you gotta do 3.
And then you're on the Capcom Resident Evil timeline.
You know, it'd be super interesting actually. Instead of doing 1 and 3 separately,
combine them.
Do it as one game.
That'd be sick.
You do 1, expand it a little bit. Maybe don't go as hard as you went on this one.
Yeah.
Keep it if that was 8 hours before, keep it 10 to 14.
Yeah.
And then do 3 also, because 3 was 4 hours long, soaking wet.
Yeah.
Damn, that could be
Then it runs into the whole Resident Evil Remake thing where it's not enough. People are upset. It's such a fine balance of nailing it. And my last thought is how you were saying, just they doubled everything and it worked.
Yeah.
That is cool.
Yeah.
That's so cool.
This is a hardcore game. All right, I'm going to stop it because otherwise we'll keep talking forever.
Yeah, forever. I can talk about this game forever. It's the best. Perfect time too, October.
Oh, beautiful.
Happy October.
Yeah, absolutely perfect timing. We are Easy Allies. If you don't know us and you suffered through this and you want to suffer through more, like a James Sunderland of video games content, come suffer with us at patreon.com/easyallies. We would love to have you. Thanks. Bye-bye.